Welcome back to yet another XC episode. Now, before we get started in the shenanigans that we're up to on this one, there's something I've wanted to do for a while, so I'm gonna bloody do it. And that is get it out of the shed for the first time, not under its own power, but we're gonna pull it with the Patrol, and I'll do a little flex test. There's no springs in at the moment. Everything's sort of finger tight and loose, like it's not sturdy, but we just wanna see the motion travel and just get some shots of it flexed up so we can sort of see the picture of what Flex C is gonna look like. So let's rip it out of the shed and see if it makes more than, what are we going for, a meter? I mean, it's 40, so it's pretty hard to go higher.
We need guards so it tucks up into the guard.
True. Oh, we'll see what happens. This is already on full bump here.
Oh, we'll just put our Black Ops off-road throttle controller on crawl mode.
This is why you have a Black Ops throttle controller. It's on crawl mode, so it's not too sensitive. It just crawls up the hill. We've got to make a meter at least. Go until this stops.
Whoa, it's off the ground. I don't know how it actually works.
The front looks absolutely munted.
Dude, that's pretty unreal.
Like the rotation.
Yeah, the diff just sucked back here.
Yeah, it's like, because it's so lifted, even this arm's like a meter long, it's pulled the diff back like heaps. So it's definitely bigger than a wheelie bin, but not a wheelie bin and Pringles. What else have we got in here? There's a wheelie bin and a big can of Pepsi. Not a small one, there we go. A wheelie bin and a big can of Pepsi. All right, do you want to crush the can? This is our really expensive can crusher. How strong is the can, bro? There we go. Back to work. We've got to make this thing run now. Rightio, that's enough shenanigans of flexing up the old XC. Today we are ripping into coating the underside of it. Now this is a brand new product from Car Builders. It's their TXT coating. It'll stick like shit to a blanket. It'll go on top of anything. A bit of a difference with this. Their gun, it has a little adjustable nozzle here so you can get different textures and different finishes depending on the way you spray it. You can thin this down as well. So on the actual external body, we're probably going to thin it down for a smoother finish. But this will pretty much go on top of anything. And the way the underside of this is with the rust and the crap under it is pretty much what we need. I'm gonna start working on the front guards as well, get the outside primed and get the inside laid and some of this stuff while Mitch goes ahead and coats the underside of the body. So let's rip into it.
Alright, we're unboxing the adjustable texture coating gun. So with this gun in here, it's got an adjustable tip on it so you can change how fine you want your texture coat. So if you screw it all the way in, you get a nice fine finish. Screw it all the way out, you get like more heavy, I don't want to say gross, but heavy looking finish, as seen on the back of the box. And it says you want to run this between 50 to 90 PSI, so we're going to run it at about 80, that way more air pressure, more fine texture. It's super easy to use this stuff. You literally don't even have to get hardener. You just screw this straight into the can, and plug her in and get your pressure going. And then always make sure to drain your reg and drain your compressor as well. All this wet weather we've been having lately, a lot of water can get in that air compressor.
Alrighty, so I've got the guards are primed. A little bit of body work to do. This one's not too bad, but the other one's got a little bit of rust I want to bog up. About to start laying the TXT coating on the chassis. Mitch has got all this clean, dried and prepped. We're going to try a little bit on the back side of the guard first too. Now the last time I did this, you can clearly see I've moved it to the outdoor hoist because it makes an absolute mess. I'd probably avoid doing it inside your shed. One thing we're going to try is I'm going to spray the ground with water as Mitch is spraying, because the last time I did it, my thongs literally got stuck to the ground and blew the plug. It's like it gets that sticky, so hopefully the water will stop it getting too stuck. But we'll see how it lays on here first, get the pressures right, and then we can go ahead and bomb the underside of this.
So we just finished under spraying the XC. It was actually really good having the adjustable gun. I was able to go from like a nice smooth texture for the underneath and tunnel, as you can see there. And then you just bump up the gun, go to a rougher texture for underneath or in wheel wells or something like that. Really easy to do it on the fly. And there was a lot less overspray as well. And I was actually quite surprised how long they lasted. We only used, I think, 4 cans to do underneath, and I went pretty heavily and did a couple coats as well. And it's made the XC look very good. Look
here, that's Raptor.
That's a competitor's brand.
Raptor.
And this
that is
TXT.
So much nicer.
Look, wouldn't promote a product I don't believe in.
Have you ever had mango solo? It's not bad. Yeah, well, you tried it. It's on the floor. All right, this is the next little task is one I've sort of been dreading for a couple of reasons. One, because it's just a pain in the butt. And 2, because I actually haven't done it before. So time to learn new skills. You're gonna work with me. There's brake lines. So I've got some hard brake lines here. It's come with some flare fittings. We've got a flaring tool, and I've also bought a bender, which will give it a real nice 45, 90 degree bend for those hard lines. So the plan is to run hard lines where we can, and at the joins of the control arms, instead of running a long like hose to the diff, it's got that much flex. It's better off just running a little braided hose down a control arm, another bit of hard line, and then a bit of hose again. So same with the front, we're gonna come across down here, a bit of hose to this upper arm, hard line, bit of hose, and then hard lines out to the calipers again. We do have brand new calipers, they're gonna go on after paint. Today we're just gonna mock up all the hard line, and then same deal when the chassis is all painted, properly P-clamp them on. But I'll probably go down and see Justin from brake and clutch to make all the braided fittings for us. But we're gonna get the hard line sorted now. It's not, someone's probably gonna be in the comments saying how we should do this, but it's not easy to get it straight because it comes in the bag fully curled up. So let us know below how we're meant to do this. I feel like you just pull it through something with grease on it and maybe it just pulls straight, I don't know, but there's a lot of little kinks in it, so I don't know how to get it perfect. To be honest, you can do a lot of the bending with your hands, but if you do want a nice radius, that's what this tool comes in for. You can though.
Yeah, I know you can, but...
Okay, yeah, don't use your fingers because it's gonna crease it internally or whatever. I'm just saying it's easy to bend with your hands, but if you want a nice, see that was done with a bender, but then this crap here was, this is what I mean, look, it bends easy. But it'll kink easy. If you just go like that, it'll like literally snap. So that's what this is, to keep the radius correct. Let's give it a crack.
Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what, add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what, add it up, told her if it's all me, everything is on me.
Just every brake person just rolling in their grave right now.
Drilling the hole in the wood. Almost the exact.
I got it.
Yep. It would be a little easier.
I'll show you what we've come up with. We're going to run down the chassis rail with these. Braided line from here to radius on, that way that allows for flex. Then we'll come to the back, another braided line from radius arm, upper control arm to block. Then on the back, brake lines come across, 2 calipers, just like they do from factory. Then up the front, similar scenario, braided line there to there, run it down, braided line, junction box to the sides, then we're done. They're not perfect at the moment, we're still going to get brake and clutch to straighten them out for us so they look nice. P-clamp to the chassis so they're good and secure. And we've also got new calipers to go on this thing too, because the old ones were seized. So look at that, brake job 50% done.
All right, just a quick reminder guys, if you're enjoying the XC build and anything we do on this channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button because it really helps us a lot. And we do have some new summer range merch that's been released and also some Australia Day stuff which is coming this weekend. I think it's this weekend anyway. So if you want to grab some stuff, I'll link it down below. If you want to go get like hats, beanies, stickers, t-shirt, windscreen banners, whatever you want, it'll be there. Thanks for the support. We've run down to Susty Justy's. Sunshine Coast brake and clutch, absolute legend. On the spot, he's like, let's make them up. So we're gonna do some braided lines to the GU calipers. I did want to see if he had a straightener, but he said, you suck at making brake lines, you should be able to do it yourself. So the technique of us rolling it out of the spool was wrong. We could have got it better than this, but you really just by hand try and get this as good as we can. Otherwise we'll try and make new ones with the technique that Justin showed us. Mitch and I wrote down a few different lengths that we want. So we'll run upstairs and make some braided lines, and that should finish most of the fittings we need, and then it's just getting the body back on so we can work out where the booster's going to sit and go from there. You come to Sunshine Coast brake clutch, mate, you get DIY brake lines, you got to come in, do it yourself. Definitely don't do that. Lucky this car ain't going on the street because this is definitely not the way to do it, but trying to save Justin from too much work time. I'll run down the Maccas, you know, bit of that, bit of this, bit of that. Right, so we're gonna make the front lines here. So we've just got a normal fitting on the end, then a banjo at the other end for the actual caliper. There's about like 8 of these to make, so get them all set like that. And then Justin will probably come through and we'll just crimp them all at once. But that is money. Look at that. If you got the right tool, it's like our plasma. You just have the right tool, you can just bang shit out so easy. That's why I came here. Imagine me trying to do this at home without the right equipment. Justin was saying with this machine we can do like a PSI test as well. Justin, let's do a PSI test.
You sure you want to do that?
Yep.
We are just bleeding the machine before we test it.
What kind of PSI are we looking for?
3,000 we need to hold. We pretty much have to bleed the machine.
Oh yeah.
So we can get all the bubbles and air out of it, and then we'll blank it off on the other side of the machine.
Oh, step back. Oh, hey, look at that.
We got to keep the needle above there for at least 5 seconds, 6 seconds.
And the hose doesn't even swell. That's what's good about braid. Oh, let's go home and chuck them on the XC, eh? Okay, so after a lot of swearing and then some classical music to calm me down again, the brake lines are done. They're not amazing. We still need to straighten them, and it is still a bit of a mock-up because I'm going to paint it first and then fully install this. So we got a bunch of new calipers, and I discovered something quite alarming, but it's not really a bad thing. Turns out the rear diff is GU, but the front calipers didn't fit. We did some measuring. Turns out my front diff is actually a GQ diff. So I'm running GQ front, GU rear. So the width is slightly different, but you can't even notice on this thing. But it concerns me maybe the diff centers are a different ratio. So we do need to find some GQ front calipers, but we do have the rears ready to go, and that should finish off the braking system. Now I want to talk about this motor. So in last episode, we built the big block, and I was really trying to reiterate the fact that bedding in these flat tappet cams is really crucial. So instead of trying to do it in the motor with a blower and all the junk on it, we're going to run it in on this stand with just a standard intake. So I do have the old intake manifold, found on Facebook Marketplace, an old Rochester 4-barrel carby, which is what these big block 454s came out with. This one's been rebuilt because I didn't want to fuss around with the bloody carby that was leaking and needed seals while we're trying to get the thing bedded in. So this should work off the bat. And then I also got myself just a normal electronic distributor to put in as well. So we're trying to get this thing mocked up. I have a GQ radiator that's gonna go here. We're gonna run a fan on it, put a fan in front of that to try and keep the thing cool. Waiting on a water pump. I did receive finally in the mail one crucial component, which was the cam retainer plate. And then I can finish off building all this front cover, degree the cam in and get all that closed up. This is the manifold that a couple of episodes we got the boys at Metamorphic Laser to cut out for us. So this is sort of mocked up, ready to take to the TIG welder. I'm not TIG welding this one because it needs to be dead straight, not have any curves in it to create a gap in the seal. And also it can't have any pinholes to leak boost. So that's one thing I am gonna leave to professionals. I've got some right angles here. The turbos are basically gonna sit here, but to get this thing running, I'm gonna add some just stock mufflers that I had lying around, angle these to the position where they can kind of join together and build an exhaust. And I wanted to just run it loud as, but you really need to hear the motor to make sure you're not getting a rod knock on the bottom end when it's getting running. So a muffler is a must. So I'm pretty much gonna work on that now, get the exhaust built, get a radiator set in here, a fuel system installed, and we should be ready to fire it up.
The next day.
Okay, we're back down at Caloundra Engine Centre. Not where I want to be, but the cam, I was playing with it and I'm not happy with the way it's feeling. Like it's kind of grabbing a little bit. So we're just going to get Jeff to check the bearings in the block. And if it's all good, hopefully borrow a degree wheel and get the cam degreed. And then we can finish the assembly. So we'll see what he reckons. Okay, so here it's like really nice. It spins mint. When it goes into the last bearing, it's like tight as shit. Not good. Do you want to know a fun fact? What you're seeing right now is my camera that I took out of my room this morning and walked to the shed. It's very foggy. That just goes to show you how bloody hot and humid it is in Queensland at the moment. Instant fog. My bloody camera went flat when I was seeing Jeff, but he said it was all good. The cam's good, we can move forward with that. So I want to go ahead and start designing some remote reservoir mounts for these shocks. Okay, so I knocked up these little Resi Mount brackets, which came out mint actually, but then I immediately realized they weren't really going to work because of the wide area at the base. They fit good around here, but then, I mean, none of the chassis rails that size, and the original place I wanted to put them wasn't gonna work because of the way the hoses were mounted. So I scratched that idea and completely redesigned it, started again, and have come up with this little hexagon bracket tree to mount that to the side of the chassis like so. Made these very intricate little brackets here, which actually I was surprised that the plasma could pull that off. And that is basically a spacer to then go ahead and mount the second Resi in connection with that. They actually look like little machine guns and rockets at the front of the thing. So let's run with that, okay? Now the rear is the same sort of deal, except I've split them up and put one at the back here and then the other two on the inside. Did a little bit more practice with the TIG welding on this one rather than just MIGging them using just normal steel TIG. Came out all right. So that is Resi's mounted. All right, exciting news just happened. I just received the tracking numbers for the turbo. And in 2 days, actually tomorrow, we're going to get the manifold welded up, which means next episode, we're gonna get supercharger, turbos mounted to see what this engine's really gonna look like. We'll see you then.